Hello and welcome back, everybody, to the Monday Night Football DFS Breakdown. We got a two-game slate to go over today. Actually starts in a little over 4 hours, so it's an early day of football, which will be a fun one. Interesting slate. We're going to go all over it all, but before we do, come join us at LINESTAR. $39.99 per month gets you access to all we do, the props, the DFS, you get it all. It's easy to cancel at any time with no questions asked. We also do have a free 7-day trial if you've never tried us out before. Go through the app stores, go through the website, and try us out there. Now, let's get into this wonderful slate we have on this Monday. Got two games: Jets versus Miami, Bengals versus Broncos. They start an hour apart, so there's overlap here today, but I think it is an interesting slate. You know, we're going to go position by position, breaking it down that way. Now let's get into it a little bit, starting with quarterback and our high owned. We got Justin Fields at 5,500 on DraftKings. On FanDuel, he is 7,600. He is the highest priced on FanDuel, and he is third highest actually on DraftKings. I think DraftKings made a wild mistake here, having him be the third highest priced quarterback. He is probably in the better spot of all three too. As far as our team defense tool, he is on the very top as far as the best matchup, and on DK being the third cheapest is kind of a wild situation. But 4-star alert score, Miami ranks 28th, allowing a ton of pass TDs and yards to the quarterback. We know Fields really makes his bread in the rushing game, though, where he's averaging 48 yards per game. So far, the Dolphins have also been poor in that aspect. Now, the one thing with this situation is the Dolphins have faced Allen, May, and Jones, three good rushing quarterbacks. So those numbers may be skewed a little bit just because they've faced three guys that can rush the ball very well. Now, Fields also can rush the ball very well, just as good, as pretty much all of them, maybe a little more explosive. But all in all, Fields is obviously in a great spot, and he should not be the third highest priced quarterback on the DraftKings slate. I think being the highest priced on FanDuel is more where he should be, but in both situations, I will probably be heavily favoring him. We admit 2.5x on FanDuel. He's 3.6x on DraftKings with on both situations. Nix is the second best asset. Now, for Nix, we have him as the second highest projected. The consensus does have Nix as the highest. So there are some different factors there. I would prefer Fields in this situation, but both are solid. My worry here with Nix is that fact the Bengals are kind of cooked. Their defense has been crushed all over the place through passing, through running. They really can't stop anything. And I do believe that Denver wants to be more of a running team than throwing. And with that, the upside for Nix may be a little lower in this spot, but Cincinnati's ranking 24th, 242.4 pass yards per game, 1.9 pass TDs over the last 9. That's good for 26th and 24th in the league. Nix really hasn't been that great this year, but he has some rushing and passing upside, and it's versus a bad D, so I don't think you can go wrong going there. I do prefer Fields if I'm only making one lineup, though. Next, we got Tua. Tua at 5,200 is a little interesting. The Jets have been decent, though, versus the pass. They're only allowing 219 passing yards per game so far this season and 1.7 TDs. The attempts are way low. They're ranking 19th versus pass. And Tua really hasn't been very good, and he's not going to add anything through the rushing game. He has 17 total yards rushing, and with his concussion worries, they definitely don't want to put him in harm's way if they don't have to. I think Tua is an okay play if you want to stack. It is probably the situation where outside of, Fields, Knicks, Tua would be my next favorite. I really don't want to go to Browning in this situation. The Broncos secondary is the strength of their defense, and Browning, outside of coming in versus Jacksonville, which isn't a great defense, in kind of a surprise spot where nobody can get ready for him, did not look good at all last week. Now, Minnesota is a tricky D, but Denver can do a lot on defense as well, so this might be another tough one for Browning. Now, if we go to the team defense tool, it's showing the same exact kind of schedule as our projections with Fields, Knicks, Tua, and Browning. Now, let's get over to the running back spot. I think there are some spots where we can get different here. So Devon Achane is coming in at the highest owned, and I do think he is interesting here. My worry with Achane is he did lose 3 goal line carries to Gordon last week. Achane only had 2 goal line carries. Gordon had 3, so that could be something sticky that continues into this week, which does give you some leverage if you want to go Gordon over Achane. Say if Gordon bangs 2, goal line touchdowns in, that definitely hurts Achane. Now, Achane has the best floor on the slate and the biggest ceiling because of his passing game involvement. 9 targets last week, 10 the week before, 4 in week 1. All in all, the passing game involvement is real and it is sticky. The Jets have done well versus the passing game, 2 running backs, though, but Achane's just a whole different beast when it comes to the passing game. So the little lower passing game stats here really doesn't worry me. And we know who the beast is, Achane. Morning, Snoop. Thank you for showing up. Absolutely appreciate it. Next, we got J.K. Dobbins at 5,800. He is 64% owned. J.K. Dobbins is in a super interesting spot. He got 65% of the work last week. He got 11 carries, 83 yards, and a tutty with 2 targets involved. The thing that was interesting about the Denver backfield last week is Tyler Bidet actually took a back seat. He was getting a little bit of work, only 4% of snaps last week, and RJ Harvey stayed about where he had been. So the big boost came to the snap count of J.K. Dobbins. If this sticks, it's absolutely very interesting, and he is getting a ton of work. He's in a good spot. Cincinnati's been crushed in the by running backs. 110 yards a game, 1 touchdown a game, ranking 31st. And I think JK is going to be very, very interesting. Oh, boy, I like this little nugget here. Achane called on himself to go out for at least one of those carries. It is interesting. I would absolutely say, that it does show that maybe Achane still does have a little bit more of that role than the numbers go to speak. But there is still leverage going with Gordon over Achane. I think Achane is like the clear top option on the slate. So I don't want to take anything away from that. He's going high owned. He's going to be the highest owned for a reason, and he is the clear top option. But Gordon is interesting leverage at 4,500 to get a little bit different and fade some of that ownership. J.K. Dobbins, I think, is the clear second best option, but don't sleep on Brees, who is coming at 32% owned in an interesting spot versus the Jets, and this Miami defense is cooked all over the place. So I definitely have interest going with Brees, and it's a spot where he's getting the, lion's share of the work here. He has the most targets at, he has second most targets at running back. Braylon actually has the most targets, but he is just under at 4. And then he's been hovering right around that 60% snap rate all season. Braylon Allen, 33, has hovered between 30%, then down to 20, and then back up to 30 in his 3 games. Isaiah Davis still tends to be around, but for the most part, it is Breece's role. He has that explosive nature to his game, and I think he is in an interesting spot, and that defense is not good. It's got beat up on the ground, through the air, both to the running back, so I don't mind going with some Breece action. Chase Brown at 6,600. Oh, man. I don't know what to do with Chase Brown right now. Now, Denver has got beat up on the ground, and if we look at what they've given up to the running back, Hampton went nuts, 19 for 70 to Tutty. He also did decent in the receiving game. Jonathan Taylor went nuts, but those are 2 very good explosive backs, and I would say that Chase Brown is more in the Tony Pollard sphere than the Hampton Taylor sphere. Now, for Chase Brown to really, really get run, he needs a ton of work. And where this team is offensively, I worry that work is really going to be here this week. P. Ryan looks like he's going to go. He's going to take some passing game involvement. So with that, Chase Brown clearly is the third option of these top 3 guys. P. Ryan is still there and gonna take 30-ish% of the work. And the 4th option of these RB1s. I think Chase Brown is pretty much just a option if you want to get a little different with your top 3. I would much prefer going Achane, Dobbins, or Hall over him. And then at 6,600 at his cost, I almost would rather just get a little bit more different. RJ Harvey's there at 4,800. If this game is a blowout, maybe he gets a little bit more run as they want to see get him some real game experience. He's only been playing 30% of the snaps, but he is an explosive, young, highly drafted rookie. They need to get this guy going, but he is clearly taken a back seat behind J.K. Dobbins. So it's kind of his role would probably come in a blowout, or he gets lucky and just busts a big one. I can't really play a Samaje Perine personally. I would rather get down to pay up to Braylon Allen or go Ollie Gordon, who last week got, 9 carries for 38 yards and a tutty. He's not going to be involved that much in the passing game, but could be involved in that goal line situations or short yardage. I don't mind having some Ollie as well. Rest of the backs, kind of dead to me. Taj Brooks is there. He played like 18% of the snaps last week, but it was in a blowout. I wouldn't expect that to be very sticky. Braylon Allen could be the leverage off of your Breece Hall, though, as he could get some goal line work. 4.5-star alert score. He's also got receiving work. So he's a little interesting, but obviously not my number 1 pick there either. Over on FanDuel, we got Achane being clear high owned or clear chalk. At 8K, he is the guy I'd want. Then J.K. Dobbins and Breece. It's pretty much the same thing, how it all breaks down over here. Let's get over to wide receiver over on DK. Garrett Wilson, Sutton, Hill, and Waddle are the 4 clear-cut, wide receivers that are intriguing. Garrett Wilson is going to get peppered with targets. 5-star alert score. He's in a great spot versus Miami. That secondary looks absolutely awful. The only issue here is how much are the Jets going to have to pass? Now, I would say 8 to 10 targets is pretty much guaranteed for Garrett, no matter how much they have to pass. They still got to get a big lead, and I don't even know if they can get a big lead. They are 2.5 point underdogs here in Miami, and if they have to pass all game, or if they are passing all game because the game is close, a huge ceiling for Garrett Wilson versus a dusted Miami defense. Cortland Sutton at 6,100, absolutely interesting. It's another spot, though, where this is, Denver wants to be run first, and they could clearly win this game. They are 7.5 point favorites here. Now, Sutton carries big time upside. The one issue here is Cam Taylor-Britt for Cincinnati should finally be active. It will be his first week active, and that will be a big help to the secondary of Cincinnati, as he is their best DB. All in all, Sutton is the first target for Knicks. If you're playing Knicks, you probably want Sutton, because as Knicks goes, Sutton does as well. Tyreek and Waddle both have some interest. Tyreek is probably going to get a lot of coverage from Sauce Gardner. He had last year had one good game versus the Jets, then one dud. The year before, he was able to go nuts against them too. I don't worry about Sauce too much, as his skill set is just different. He just needs to get in space, and he can make a big play happen. Waddle, on the other hand, same pretty much situation. If we look last year, Miami was able to put up 32 on the Jets last year in the first game, and then only 20 in the second game. 2023, they put up 34 and 30. Waddle is a nice, you could do a nice little 3-man stack with Tua, Waddle, and Hill, and pretty much get all of the passing game involvement. That's really where the interest is there on these two for me. They're also moderately priced, so I don't mind that. Now, the deeper guys is where we can really actually get different on this slate. You got T. Higgins, who has been so far kind of an afterthought. I think him coming up and being more involved, especially with Patrick Sutton likely on Chase, I think T. Higgins becomes super interesting leverage, and probably going too low owned at 5,600 here on this slate. Another spot that I really like is Troy Franklin. Troy Franklin has been playing more snaps for the Broncos at wide receiver. Week 1, he only played like 5 additional snaps than Mims, but he played 27 more week 2. He played like 18 more week 3, and it appears to be that Franklin has stolen that WR2 role, and it's a real role. They find ways to get him the ball, and I think he's clearly the number 2 option, and someone to absolutely consider as a guy that can make a big play. He's cheap. A lot can happen with him. And then Jamar Chase at 8K. I mean, I don't care who he is against. I don't care that it's Patrick Surtain. You got to consider him. What did he do against Denver last year? 9 for 102 on 15 targets. The man can still get first read targets, and I'm sure he's going to again. I absolutely have interest in him, especially if he is going low owned. Jamar Chase as a low owned option is wild. I'm going to have some. I just don't love going Browning. If I'm playing Chase, it's probably a situation where I'm stacking with Knicks and then having Chase as a bring back, but also Higgins is a good option there as well. I really don't want Jets WR2, but Josh Reynolds is going to be back, and he is an option. Malik Washington has been used all over the field, and he's getting some rushing work. 2 or 3 carries in the last couple games. Yeah, good thing to point out too, Bullet, that the first game is with Tua, whereas the second was without, and they couldn't move the ball without all year long last year without Tua. All right, tight end world. This is a gross one today. So Darren Waller is back. He is expected to play limited snaps and only be used situationally. So I don't love him. If you want to go there, you absolutely can. Then we got Evan Ingram. Evan Ingram has only played what is it? It is 34% of the snaps in week 1, 43% in week 2. He did get banged up in both games, so maybe that's part of it. But we definitely have a lower snap share for him. And Troutman is the one that has played the most, but he's not much of a receiving back. So if you want a Denver tight end, Ingram is the one you likely have to go with. Then Mason Taylor is here at 2,700, getting the majority of ownership. I don't mind him. He did get 6 targets last week with 4 receptions for 18. But reminder, that was without the Josh Reynolds last week. So he got more targets, but we didn't have the WR2. I would expect him to get a bigger and bigger role throughout the season, though. So maybe those targets are a little bit sticky, and this Dolphins team has got gashed from tight ends, 71 yards a game thus far, 0.7 touchdowns. It's not the worst spot. There's a reason why he's going high owned. Now, a pivot that I think we need to bring up here, Tanner Hudson. Oh, sorry, not Hudson. Drew Sample. Drew Sample came out and played the most snaps of any Bengals tight end last week. He played 68%. Noah Fant is gone with he's out with a concussion, or suffered the concussion last week. That is going into today, I believe. And with that, Sample had 3 targets, 2 receptions, and a tutty. He's obviously not the favorite for the passing game work. That will go to Gesicki, but Sample is going to be out there a ton and is absolutely a touchdown threat. Gesicki is there, gets weekly work from the tight end spot in the receiving game, but has topped at 4 targets. Now, Fant has taken some of that target work, absolutely, so maybe he gets a couple more, but don't sleep on Sample as a way to get different at the tight end position. We have him coming in at only 4%, and he is going to get some work. Outside of that, I don't really love any of the other low-owned tight ends. I think you're going Taylor, Ingram, Gesicki, or Sample. If you want to get different with Waller, I understand it in your Tua stacks. There is a chance that he's pretty much just used in the end zone, in the red zone area. And if that's the case, then there's absolutely equity for him to be in the optimal lineup. Now, let's get over to kickers and defense, or well, just defense, because it's a 2-game slate. Broncos D versus Cincinnati, the clear option. Cincinnati just got absolutely rolled by the Minnesota defense. And while I think they are going to put a better foot forward today, you need to consider Denver. They are one of the better defenses in the league. Cincinnati D, 2,300. I don't think salary is going to be an issue on this slate. Therefore, I don't think you need to get to Cincinnati. But with Cam Taylor-Britt, they will be a little bit better than they were. Jets would probably be my next favorite defense after the Broncos. Dolphins offense really just hasn't been all that great this year, but they do have upside. This Jets defense, while it isn't great, I think at least gives you some more opportunities, and this Dolphins team is going to be passing a lot, which gives you the opportunities for sacks and turnovers. So if I'm not going Broncos, Jets are probably my pivot, but Broncos clearly are the spot. They're the best projected defense on the slate. So that's will do it for us today. As far as wide receiver spot for team defense tool, wide receiver 1, we do like Sutton the best as far as our team defense tool, but none of the WR1s are really in all that great of spots. So take that for what it is. Think you're gonna have to play at least one WR1, and just salary wise. Now it's a tricky little 2-game slate, a lot of different ways to go. I would say definitely make sure you're doing some sort of stack with your QBs, but it could be a weird slate where you do a small quarterback stack with one pass catcher and then, stack the other game some other way. Now, that'll do it for us today, guys. Hope you guys the best. Please come join us at LINESTAR. $39.99 per month gets you access to all we do, the props, the DFS, you get it all. And then we're going to be doing a prop show for Monday night very shortly. Talk to you all later. Peace.